Welcome to our Facebook Live with Shane McKenna and Paul Hoyt with AscendingHarvest.com. Every day, every weekday that is, we get on stream here and bring you a live broadcast with an update on our particular Ascending Harvest project, share some insights and some inspirational messages from time to time, and talk a lot about the science and the project that we have going. I'm Paul Hoyt, you're the CEO, and this is my best buddy, business partner, resident genius, Shane McKenna. Say hello to the folks, Shane.
Hello, folks. You know, we've only done, 15 or 16 of these, and I'm actually getting good at sharing it. That only took me about 5 seconds to share our live video over to my Facebook page today. So not a lot of distraction in the background.
Yeah, you're doing better than me. I'm almost there to share it. Hang on just a second. Here we go, share to my timeline.
Well, let me say something interesting while you're working on that.
I'm sure you can.
I'll try.
What's your time's up? Was that it?
Yeah, that was it. That me saying I'll try was all I could come up with.
I think, that was fascinating to me. I hope the rest of the people enjoyed it too. So anyway, we have a good time while we're talking to you about the project. Ascending Harvest is a new company. Our crowdfunding campaign starts on September 19th. That's 9 days away from now, a week from Wednesday, where we hope to raise many thousands of dollars to help take our project to the next level, to do some more product development work, and to go to Washington, D.C. and pursue large grant opportunities. We have been told by many, many people that there are wonderful aid organizations in Washington, D.C. who is eager to hear about folks like us and projects like ours to help the people in developing countries, refugee camps, break free of the cycle of poverty and poor nutrition, which is exactly what we want to do, and that's why we are passionate about doing this project. This is, by the way, Zoomcast number 19. So we have done a lot of them. And one of the things that I want to do to start off with is review some of the other ones that we have done. We're going to talk a little bit about Victory Gardens here in a minute, but I want to review some of the previous, what I call Zoomcasts. And the reason I say Zoomcasts is because we're using Zoom as our chosen platform because of the ease and convenience of doing these Facebook Live broadcasts and recording them as we go along. So I hope you all can see my screen right now. On my screen, you see the blog page actually the blog index page from our website. That's AscendingHarvest.com. And if you haven't done so already, please go to AscendingHarvest.com and sign up for our email list so you can get progress reports and make sure that you're eligible for prize drawings that we do every single day on these Zoomcasts. And when you click on the blog menu item, the first thing that you'll see is an index to our various Zoomcasts that we have done. Not all of them, but the ones that are really relevant and important for this particular project. And I thought since this is the Monday before our crowdfunding campaign week, we might just take just a minute and review some of these previous topics that we have brought up during these daily meetings so that you can pick out maybe one or two or three of these that might be your favorites and go watch them in their entirety. First one we did was really talking about the what and the why of this project, and why we went into a lot more detail. The what of the project is to create these Ascending Harvest human-powered hydroponic systems. These really great growing systems, gardening systems, farming systems that allow people to grow their own food when they don't have any soil, when they have no experience, when they have very little water, and when they have no electricity. Really genius level stuff that Shane has invented, as a result of his 31 years of kind of working on this project. That's what we are doing. And we also talk about the why of what we are doing a little bit in that one and in the next Zoomcast we did, which was on why human-powered hydroponics systems are so desperately needed. So Shane, I'm going to invite you to talk a little bit about that before we move on to the next one.
Yeah, we talked about the whole cycle of some of the issues around the fact that the art of farming has been lost in many areas, and how our system can reintroduce farming to people who have never grown food before, and And why empowering is better than servicing. The old adage or parable, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. And we're feeding people for a lifetime. We're offering a permanent, empowering solution. So we go into that in great detail in that particular podcast.
Yeah, and the next like 6 or 7 of these podcasts were really all of Shane talking to you about the things that he has learned with all of his experience as an engineer, as a farmer, as an artist. The next 2 were really focused on intelligent grow media. First, we talked about the functions of soil and the challenges of traditional farming. And then we talked about Shane's invention itself, intelligent grow media. So Shane, give the people a couple of sentences about this fantastic soil replacement system that you have invented.
The very shortest version I can give of intelligent grow media is that it is a soil replacement that delivers the optimal water, nutrient, mineral, and air to the roots to support the growth of plants to their highest production level and their highest nutrition level possible.
That was beautiful. You know, and I talked a little bit about what hydroponics is. Originally, I thought hydroponics was just like growing plants in water, you know, like lily pads on a pond. But as it turns out, it's really important for roots of plants to have something to anchor to. That's one of the other functions of soil. They need to have something to grab hold of so that the stems and the stalks can grow tall and bear the weight of the fruit, etc. And that's another thing that intelligent grow media does. You know, it provides a framework, an anchoring system for the roots of those plants in a most wonderful, wonderful way. You know, then we talked about in the next couple of Zoomcasts that we did, talked about, you know, plant biology a little bit, or botany. Actually made me think that I should have studied botany back in school, because plants are absolutely magic. The way that they draw carbon out of the atmosphere and take the nutrients in the water and magically transform these elements into food that we can eat. I thought that was just incredible. So we spent 2 Zoomcasts talking about how plants actually work, you know, how they actually do their thing, which of course Shane knew about since he's been a farmer for his entire life, but it was new to this kind of city boy when he talked about that.
Well, it's a lot to take in, because it's, you know, it's life, and there's so much that we know, but I guarantee you we know less than there is to know. So there's a lot more that we don't know, that we're always learning, and that is one of my passions, is staying on the bleeding edge of what's going on in plant biology and in technologies that support plants. And really it's that never-ending passion for understanding how we can grow plants better that have led me to develop not only this technology, but my other technologies involved in farming and organic farming and permaculture in particular.
Yeah, those are very insightful, and I really encourage you to watch those about the magic of plants. I really do think that it's, you know, a magical gift of the universe that these things called plants can literally suck the carbon out of the air and turn it into food that we can eat. That's just, you know, that seems like a very magical process to me. Not so magical, however, is some of the other couple of ones we talked about with the patenting process and some of our product line extensions that we intend to do. Shane, what is this, like 14 patents or so that you have been party to this year alone?
Now, let me phrase that in a more accurate term. This year alone, I've invented 14 technologies that myself or my clients have pursued with patents. So some patents have multiple technologies all bundled into them, but they're each unique inventions. And so I've got 14 inventions this year that we so far have pursued patent protection on. And in our system, there are actually 6 technologies that we are in the patent pending side of the process. So that is a lot of technology, unique new technology to be bundled into a single system. And by the way, 14 in 1 year is my personal best so far. But you know, it's kind of where I live, is in this inventive, creative space. That's my claim to fame, is my ability to see problems in a unique way, and to draw on my exceptional amount of experience, professional experience, to create solutions.
Yeah, and that gives us, by the way, a lot of product line extensions that we talked about in one of our other Zoomcasts. And we also called upon Shane to talk a little bit more about the difference between hydroponics, aeroponics, and aquaponics, and why we were focused on hydroponic solutions. So if you've been wondering about what we are doing and why we are doing it, about why these systems are so desperately needed by, you know, there's 1 billion people that go to bed hungry every night because they just don't have, you know, food that's readily available to them. And we really do want to help those people tremendously, and we share a lot of information about what we are doing, why we are doing it, the processes that we are using, what we intend to do after we create ascending harvests and the human-powered hydroponic systems for the families who desperately need them. There's a lot of information there. If you're wondering whether or not you should support this project, or to what level you can support the project, we strongly encourage you to watch 2 or 3 or 4 of those, and you'll really come to understand that we know what we're doing, we're passionate about helping people, and we can help people, and we will help people with your support. So go to ascendingharvest.com, sign up for our email list, think about contributing to our crowdfunding campaign and sharing the information about our crowdfunding campaign with your list, with your social media network, when we launch it on September 19th, a week from Wednesday, which we are, of course, getting more and more excited about that every day. I want to talk a little bit today about Victory Gardens, which I had heard about Victory Gardens a long time ago, and it occurred to me that that's what we are doing. These human-powered hydroponic systems are very analogous to Victory Gardens, which was a concept that started, I think, in World War II or so, to really encourage people to grow some of their own food, to supplement the food supply, you know, in various countries during the time of war. And I've done a little bit of research on that. A couple of very interesting things about the Victory Gardens. First of all, it wasn't just a United States concept. They were also popular in the United Kingdom, in Canada, in Australia, and even in Germany for several different reasons. One of the biggest reasons were a lot of the people who were normally working on the farms were called to serve for their country on one side of the battle line or the other. And so there just weren't as many people working the farms. Another reason was we had to distribute a lot of food, had to get a lot of food from here to there. So there wasn't as much food supply available on the local grocery store shelves as there was before, because it had to be redirected and sent over to support the war efforts across the seas in Europe. And, you know, so many people who would normally work in farming systems and food processing systems and other types of systems were called away to serve their country. So there was a shortage of food, and a Victory Garden was one of the ways that people could help shore up the supply of food. But there were a couple of other reasons. One, and both of them are related to it being a tremendous morale booster for people. It gave them something to do. It gave them some way to contribute. You know, if they couldn't pick up a gun, and they couldn't go work in a factory, and they couldn't do other things because they were, say, staying at home taking care of the kids, or had some other issue that did not allow them to contribute to the war effort in any other way, they could at least have their own victory garden and do what they could do to support the war efforts. And secondly, it is a very empowering thing when you plant a seed and water a plant and give it the sunshine and air that it needs and the nutrients that it needs, and see it grow over time to the point to where you can just reach out and grab that fresh tomato. Really is empowering. It helps you feel good about yourself. You know, you did something, you created something. So Victory Gardens not only indirectly supported the war efforts, but they also helped people be empowered. And that's what Human Powered Hydroponics is all about, with our passion to help people in developing countries and refugee camps. So Shane, talk to us a little bit about that concept of having your own system and growing your own food and what that can mean to people.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. That was a great history lesson about Victory Gardens and the value that they bring to people and have brought to people during times of trouble. And what we're talking about is the latest updated numbers that I've seen is that approximately 1/6 of the population of the earth lives in a level of poverty that they are in food insecurity. They don't know where they're going to get their food the next day or within a few days from where they're at, because they're in such extreme poverty. It's just really hard to see that availability of food, or they just don't have the access to the food, and they know they're not going to have access to it.
Yeah.
What we are doing is really one level above a Victory Garden, because in order to grow a Victory Garden, you have to know how to grow a garden. And one of the fundamental tenets and one of the design criteria of our system that I placed upon myself is I have to create a system that somebody can grow their own food, having never had that experience before, and without any teacher. So there literally are no human-powered, low-cost systems like that. There's some very, very high-cost automated systems that are coming onto the market, but we're talking thousands of dollars per plant. There literally has never been a technology that allows people to follow some simple, easy steps and grow their own food without understanding how that system actually works to grow the food. So people who don't have good soil, people who don't have access to plentiful water, people who don't have access to their own farmland, we've got a solution. And what the parallel to a Victory Garden is not only are you growing your own food, but it gives you something to be accountable to every day, and you're in the process of nurturing life, which is very affirming. Not only do you feel good about that, but you feel that sense of contribution, and you go through that whole cycle of plant, sow, and then reap. And on the reap end of that, the harvest end of that, the harvest part of ascending harvest is they are harvesting nutrition that they normally don't have access to. And so not only are we empowering them in their community through participation and that accountability to a project, but they're also going to, maybe for the first time in their life, receive the nutrition that supports brain function, that allows them to start thinking through to solutions with other challenges in their life beyond food insecurity. And so our system is very similar to other empowerment systems where an organization might microlend a sewing machine to a single mother so that she can create a marketable good, or where goats are supplied to a family, chickens, goats. These other empowering items that are essential in these developing economies that really allow people to lift themselves up. And there's where the parallels are. That's what a victory garden is. A victory garden allowed people to lift themselves up in time of great turmoil and uncertainty. We do that, but we have the added layer of we're actually giving people the training wheels on their system so that they can do it without ever knowing how to grow food. And we hope that we teach them how to grow food and become more advanced in their gardening so that they can advance to other types of farming and gardening. But let's, at the very minimum, give them that opportunity to have hold of some food security, and as they flourish in that, they can even make that an economic opportunity for themselves in their community.
Well said. Well said. I really appreciate that. One of the things that you talked about there was giving them a project that they can focus on every single day. You and I talked in one of our Zoomcasts about the power of a daily practice and about how essential that is to help building your sense of empowerment within yourself, about feeling like you're in control of your own destiny because you can control your own schedule and you can at least focus on I'm doing my exercises every day. I'm walking the dog every day. I am nurturing my human powered hydroponic system every single day. Gives you a tremendous sense of self-empowerment. And that's one of the things that we really want to cultivate as well. We've talked in the past, and I know that we're going to do this, is share a little inspirational message of some kind with each one of our human powered hydroponic systems. Little messages of encouragement and hope, little messages that inspire people to discover and tap into greater power for themselves while they are focusing on the garden. We want them to ascend, in their vibration, in their powerful positive energy, at the same time their plants are ascending up through the intelligent grow media and growing the fruit and the vegetables that they need for nutrition. So we're very excited about that.
I understand the challenge that many of our listeners may have of trying to grasp how that would be to live in an environment where you have this level of food insecurity. So I just prepared some information that I posted on social media a couple of days ago. And if you wanted to grasp how difficult it is to acquire your own food in some of these areas where we have approximately 1 billion people who make less than $2 a day. And when you look at the cost of the produce in their marketplace, if you were to try to translate that to our experience at the average level of income that an American enjoys, a tomato would have to cost over $33 to make the same relating point. Could you imagine going down and getting a medium-sized tomato that's 1/3 of a pound, and that tomato costs you $33?
Wow. What
kind of decisions would you be making with your income if a tomato cost you that much money? Now, that tomato only costs them 20 cents in their economy, but they make less than $2 a day. And so that's the equation. That 20 cents to them is literally $33 to us on average. So just try to imagine how challenging it would be to navigate those kinds of choices.
Yeah.
And imagine the hope that's given when suddenly you have the opportunity to grow hundreds of pounds of tomatoes, and not only for your own nutrition, but to market those to your neighbors and exchange services for those tomatoes. In fact, just a few systems in some of these environments would allow people to increase their annual income by 50% or more. Imagine if you had a simple tool that could increase your income by 50% or more. How much hope that would give you with all the things that you want to accomplish. Now imagine that for somebody who really hasn't ever had hope, and now suddenly they have an opportunity to increase their standing in life with just a few systems by 50%. And if they choose to pursue this as a major endeavor, they could easily replace their income multiple times with not a lot of resources going in.
That is so well said. Yeah, that'd be such a victory, to be able to have, twice as much or 10 times as much disposable income as you had before to buy a pair of shoes or to buy a textbook or to do something to really improve your condition in life. And that's what we want to do. We want to help people grow their own food so they can break free of the cycle of poverty and poor nutrition, so that their brains work better, they make better decisions, they've got more disposable income, and they can just lift themselves out of that cycle of poverty. And with your help, we can make that happen. And again, our crowdfunding campaign is coming up on September the 19th. Go to ascendingharvest.com and sign up for our email list. When you do, you'll be informed of all the updates and progress reports on the project and be eligible to be entered into a prize drawing that we do at the end of every single one of these Zoomcasts that we do, which I think we're about ready to do that now.
Yeah.
So every day I go in and export all of the names and email addresses from people who have given us their email addresses at ascendingharvest.com, and we enter them into this prize drawing, and we give away a free human-powered hydroponic system. The way we do that is Shane picks a number between 1 and 10,000, and I match it to my list, and voila, there's our winner. What's the magic number today, Shane?
All right, I'm getting ready to push the generate button on this random number generator, and the number is 4108. Let's see.
4108.
I'm going to come into camera view. Not seeing it today, maybe. 4108.
And the winner today is Ryan Long. Ryan Long with citygala.org, who has this tremendous network of people all around the country who want to do good and do good together. So I'm very excited for him to be a winner of his very own human-powered hydroponic system. We'll send him a notice. I know he'll be excited to get it. And we are looking forward to his support on this project too, because he is connected, to lots and lots of people all over the country, and has a great story. You might look him up at citygala, CITYGALA.org. His story of deciding that he wanted to be like us, a person who is committed to helping other people have a better life experience. Really good gentleman. Like my buddy Shane is, and like I am too, and like so many of you are who are listening to this as well. So I'm eager to come together with all of you fine folks and do what we can, which is a substantial amount, to feed people all around the world with our human-powered hydroponic systems. Shane, anything else for today?
No, I think we've done a great job of covering a lot of stuff today in review. And I would just encourage people to go back and review some of our videos that we've produced if our technology and what we're doing is a curiosity to you. That's a great place to learn. And, excuse me, I would also encourage you to please share. Please share what we're doing, because we can't do this without your help. We need your help to get a little push off the starting line. Once we get off that starting line, we are very, very confident that there's going to be a lot of aid available for us to tap into, because we have a solution that makes so much sense for people in need.
Well said. Couldn't say it any better, so I'll just end by saying goodbye. Thank you very much for watching the recording. Tune in tomorrow, watch some of those other blogcasts, go to ascendingharvest.com, sign up, and support us in our crowdfunding campaign coming on September the 19th. Thanks so much. We'll see you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.